Good afternoon and welcome to Patterson Stadium. Yes, the West Coast Eagles is their first home game of the season. The expectations are high after their finish last year and their performance last week. And for Melbourne, it's all about commitment, endeavour and their desire for the contest.
Let's take a look at the West Coast Eagles side, Shuri. Like you, I think they're a side that is going to be featuring very deep in September.
And that's even without LaCroix and Nikoski for a fair bit of the season. Oh, just their tools, Shuri. They're a fantastic unit.
The story's all about the Melbourne Football Club. They've had a tough 2 or 3 weeks, there's no doubting that. However, I'm going to put it onto the player group. They really need to step up in this next 2 hours. They can only control playing football, and they need to start today. Need to throw a few things out there against West Coast, make them uncomfortable. I'd like to see how Mark Neal just throws his forward line around. I'd like to see James Magner, Jack Watts and Brad Green really into it.
Thanks, Glenn. We're underway for this round 2 clash. Melbourne with plenty to prove here against a very talented, very strong, very tall West Coast Eagles outfit. And the first clearance will come to the D's, and it's Jeremy Howe. But standing in the way for West Coast is Beau Waters. Burnell up forward at the moment, now getting free, and good vision from Burnell. Sees a man standing on his own. It was Clark, but he should have done better with that. Schofield arrived in time. Clark should have attacked the footy. The switch on here for the Eagles. Rosa.
Oh, this is great positioning from Priddis. Poor matching up from the Demons, and what a kick from Cox.
Going back, Rivers with the spoil, helped out. Chance though here for the Eagles though. Hill kicked 3 goals last week. Not 15, and Shuey wanted the free kick and made sure he got it because the tackle was too high.
Gee, that's a bad tackle from a senior player in Brad Green. You know you either corral Jared if you're not good enough, you know, but just to go that hard at the contest, especially when you hear the umpire, you've got to go low, drive into the body.
He's good for a goal again, Luke Shuey. And that's going to hold its line, and that's the first goal of the afternoon here at Patterson Stadium to Luke Shuey. Naitanui this time beaten by Jamar. Well sharked by Jones, but Magna went without it. Naitanui had to beat 3, managed to get his hands free. Marston out in front of Priddis, who'll give it. Had 2 options. The further afield one was Embley. Now this is Scott Selwood to Shuey. Looks up for support. Has to go back to Scott Selwood, who gets past Rivers and Watts easily. Drives it to the top of the square. Pressure for Frawley, but he's equal to it. And then beats 3 Eagles, shrugs the tackles and runs too far. And this will be a gimme goal for the West Coast Eagles. Darling will take the shot. There's about 5 metres left, and then it was about 15 forward to it. So he's run about 20 metres. But anyway, Darling, 30 metres out, shouldn't miss, and doesn't. That's his first for the day. He scrambles it forward. No tall timber there for Melbourne.
Great hands.
Green gave it to Howe. And marked on the line.
Naitanui dominating at that clearance.
Shuey, busy. Gaff, just the handball behind Rosa. It was equal to the recovery. Scott Selwood to Gaff. They combine well and he's away.
A lot better, the Eagles at this stage, which is going to affect the work rate of Melbourne down the track. They've got to be able to hit some targets.
Well, that's you can see with Naitanui here. This is that loose man in defence. Now, you've got to be patient, Jared.
First game for the year and 3rd overall is up against Dean Cox. 4 or 5 times All-Australian, and he is under the pump.
Waters from 60 metres out says, I'll just kick a goal. Don't worry about all this messing around. Goal to Waters.
What a conversion, what a kick. And the kicking, the difference between the 2 sides at the moment, you couldn't challenge the Demons on work rate, but just disposal efficiency.
There's Selwood, Adam, onto the chest.
It's a better way to
Cox.
operate, just open up the Demons' defensive zone by hitting up some shorter targets.
Cox decides to go towards Lynch. Garland got the spoil in. Scott Selwood again. What a quarter he's having. A bounce. Inside 50. On the boundary. Scott Selwood. He's having an afternoon he may not ever forget. What a brilliant goal.
Well, there's where you're right, Jared, just that pinpoint pass to open up the gap behind, and then they found space. But, gee, Scotty Selwood, he hasn't had an opponent for the whole first quarter. He's now coming up to 12 disposals and 1 goal and a couple of assists.
Nick Nat over the top to Shuey, and they spread quickly, the Eagles. Hearn measures the kick. Lynch, too strong. Controlled it in the air and then had pushed it down so he could mark it. Didn't really get hold of that with the boot. Wanted Darling, McDonald to spoil. First to crumb it was Hill. Wrong side of the post from Josh Hill. Seller in front.
Well done, good hands.
Yeah, it was the right option. Just a fumble from Trengove. Watts is going to cut on the angle. He's got no one to give it to. Spills out the back. They've only got a couple of seconds here, Melbourne, to try and get a late goal.
Jeez, that's some head-high tackles.
Another head-high tackle against Melbourne. So it's Shuey involved again. He's been very, very busy. I think that's his third time they've caught him over the shoulder. But it was some commitment and endeavour shown by Melbourne. But at quarter time, it is the West Coast Eagles 4-3-27, leading Melbourne 1-1-7, the margin 20. Not a lot to kick to for him though. Here's Mackenzie and Clark. Now the bounce straight past Mackenzie, but he's back onto Clark.
But Nell's got to get ready to charge forward. He's the loose man. He's got the pace.
There he is, and he just ricocheted. In fact, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he tried to just push that into the path of Clark, but it hasn't come off. As Glass and Hearn exchange handballs over to Gaff, Scott Selwood again, and they work it out. They share it nicely. Shuey gets it from Kerr. They switch to the other side.
Sometimes if you sit there, a ball comes to you, and that worked out well.
Nice positioning by Watts.
Oh, shocking handball.
Not sure what was happening there though. Glass, Scott Selwood turns, give over the top. Marston, Rosa running out of room, just hooks it back.
Got this one.
It's a free kick for Lynch against Garland. Too strong, too big.
He was just in the right spot.
Lynch. Only 30 metres out, but a tight angle. Slices it straight through. Wonderful finish from the cue stick. So Gaff kicks to the space. Allows Darling to run at it. Prittis was hoping for the crumb front and square. Beautifully done to Scott Selwood. Already with a goal. Scott Selwood has two.
Well, I think we've just seen the difference of Matty Prittis from about 2 years ago. The ability to stand up in the tackle. And he does it here. The contest comes. And just here, now, you should be. That tackle should be laid and held.
Now Rivers peels off for him. Tries to draw Natanui. And he missed his target in Grimes. But they should have enough time here, Melbourne, to sort things out. Grimes to Magna, wants to give it back to him. And he goes back to Frawley, who's standing still, and he's going to run out of room. And Nick Natanui's lurking. Off to Kerr, 40 metres out. Wonderful pressure from the Eagles. A wonderful goal.
Well, you mentioned the word pressure, Matty, and that's all it was. On top of an errant disposal, it just didn't hit the target. Grimes was good enough to get the ball up, so probably excuses Frawley to some degree. But once again, a little fumble there, an errant handball, Frawley not knowing who's around him. Just group pressure there by the West Coast Eagles. And Natanui's immediate response is, who do I lay this off to?
Might just have a shot, you reckon, Drew? Here's Shuey. And things are looking ominous from the centre square here at the moment with the Eagles. High ball in. First to it was Grimes, but again he turned back into trouble, which they've done a few times, Melbourne.
Classic difference between the two sides though. Shuey comes back through the middle and kicks the ball high up, expecting one of his tools to mark it. Melbourne are going wide.
Again it's the pressure. Again they force the turnover. And again they kick the goal. This time it's Hams.
Pressure. Well,
they're exciting to watch the Eagles, aren't they? They've got so many good finishes now. They play a really entertaining brand of footy. They've got some of the great talents in the competition.
Jared, just watch this. The intent to tackle in your forward half, whether you're small or tall, it doesn't matter. But just they cannot find any space at all. And what they do, once the ball's in the air, they go exactly straight at the man who's going to receive the ball. And it doesn't matter, you get help from behind. Just fantastic forward pressure there. It's not about the effort. It's just, you're playing a pretty good opposition here. I think they're a top 4 chance, no doubt.
Clearing kick out. Seller pushed off it by Schofield. Now he's got pace when he gets clear. And he kicks into the pocket, Natanui the target. And he's got it.
Boy.
Too good.
Oh, boy.
Now the Demons have to find a way to goal. They've, I think, produced a competitive effort to this point, Shuri, but the last few goals all going to the Eagles. They're at risk now being blown away, and they've just got to find another level.
Oh, that was a brilliant handball. Glass come off the interchange.
Oh, that's the best interchange I've seen for a while. Along the ground to the man coming on, and now the switch is on. Scott Selwood to Waters, out to Gaff, man on further downfield. All on his own is Darling.
He could kick this too if he takes it on.
The man on the mark is 50 metres out.
Well, that was one of the greatest handballs you ever see, Matty. Well, the handball down the line, and there's Darren Glass coming on. He's thinking, how good's this? No pressure off the interchange. I'll just come in and get a quick handball and go back to the fence.
And he did, and he got help from Garland, and he's up. But Hams has it for the Eagles. Back to Gaff. Support from Marston. Driving long again. Kennedy there. Crumbing was Darling. Beautiful handball to Hill. And the big man sets up Josh Hill for his first.
They have just bombed the ball into that hot spot a lot. And sooner or later, it's not your smaller players, but Darling, very creative handball.
Beats Kerr to it. Bale. Maybe if the reflex give on the up was there, but a good attack on it by Green. He showed some pace. He dribbled it off the end of the boot. Prittis will be first to it. Clark sweats on him.
Clark at ground level again.
Yeah, and he almost got a hand on it, but Glass to Hearn, in turn to Kerr. Now, where's he go from here?
Oh.
I don't think...
no, he actually meant that.
Melbourne, they're going to make sure they don't get outscored.
Rosa with vision. Waters.
Go long bomb.
He's just gone straight onto the chest of the cue stick, and he'll have a ping.
He hit the last one super sweet.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kick, the first one. That's not bad either. Quentin, 2 from 2. Clark just signalling, just kick it in long. I'm not sure that's the best option because Dean Cox is paddling back.
There's no crummers.
And there's Cox.
Oh, in 50 maybe. No.
Forward of the play.
Spoil over the top came from McDonald, but Prittis knew it was going front and square, and he was in the right spot at the right time, and now Marston's away. Eagles press forward again. They've been dynamic in this situation. The spoil from Rivers. Grimes comes through, paddled forward nicely to Shuey. It came from Marston. Shuey in space, 40 metres out. Lets his team down, and he knows it. 1 still for Melbourne. Hearn in space. Marston's going to get it off of Scott Selwood. Heads in the Natanui direction. Punched by him. Here's little Ashton Hams. Came on the ground, kicked the goal. He gets down low. He's hard to tackle. That's why. Eagles lead by 7 goals. Hams makes it 8, and they are dominating here.
Well, we just saw the Beau Waters shepherd on Grimes. I think that'll be looked at. I think it looks okay.
Is it in the play?
I reckon it is. I think that was close to 5 metres or within 5, and I think it's a perfect shepherd. But you know, they look at those things when a player goes off injured. I'd be pretty dirty if I was rubbed out on something like that.
Look at his Hams again, giving it off to Darling off the outside of the boot. Wonderful kick, right on the siren.
Siren's gone. No,
just the siren hit just before. Yeah, good call, Jacko.
Well, good call by Jack Darling. He's got great gifts, Jack Darling. He saw that. He saw the Cox or young Josh Hill. He kicked it with the side of his boot. And we're going to set up for what should have been a shot at goal, but he didn't give it.
West Coast in control there at halftime. We'll take a break. It's 11-8-74, 4-2-26, margin 48.